Well, it's not over yet, but it will be because Laquon Treadwell is not gonna play here anymore after 2019. The Vikings just announced Laquon Treadwell's 5th-year option will not be picked up. Your thoughts?
Not surprised. Anybody surprised?
Does he have to be here for a 4th year?
Yeah, can they just
decline the whole thing now?
Just decline his 4th year.
Our bad. Our mistake.
Yeah.
Go away. That's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 3 years. He has 1 touchdown catch.
One touchdown catch?
Yes.
Really? Is that real?
Against the Packers at Lambeau week 2 last year. That's it.
That's amazing. 1 touchdown catch?
Oh, the numbers are staggeringly bad.
I knew
It's
they
actually
were
impressive. They're so
I was just gonna
bad.
say.
It's impressive.
Dude,
Didn't he have 1 catch his rookie season?
Yes, 1 for 15 yards. I just
Yeah.
looked this all up.
I forgot about that. I forgot that he had
1
1
catch his rookie season, and he was drafted 23rd
Well,
overall.
Let's see here. Let's compare him. Let's play a game. Let's
So
compare him to
bad.
Troy.
Hold on.
Let's play. Let's have some fun.
Poor
Oh,
Troy
man.
Williamson.
We need some.
Well, poor us, Jonathan. Yeah, you got the circus music? Dun, 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 dun.
Actually, I'm gonna let Jonathan hit that game show page because it's like cutting out in our headphones. But so you've got Laquon Treadwell versus.
I have
Troy
Troy right.
Williamson.
I have Troy right here now.
Okay.
Troy was 3 years
That's the sound.
in Minnesota. That's the actual game show. That brings back memories.
Middle of the page.
That brings back memories.
So because Treadwell was targeted 3 times his rookie season, caught 1 of them.
Yeah.
You know, if I was a politician, I could make a case for incremental growth. In fact, what's the percentage growth of 1 to 20? Isn't that like 2,000% or
Yeah.
something? Right.
I think so. Yeah.
What about from 20 to 35? That's like 80% growth, 75% growth.
I'm going to say yes.
Laquon Treadwell, 75% growth as a wide
All right.
receiver from 2017 to 2018.
I
And they're
mean-
going to decline his 5th-year option with that kind of growth.
How
year to year.
could they?
Give me
What a
Laquon.
failing franchise.
Give me, because I've got Troy stats here. Give me Laquon Treadwell, 3 years in, receptions, yards, and we talked about 1 touchdown.
Total 3 years in,
Yeah, total 3 years in.
56 catches.
Troy had 79.
That's amazing. So Troy Williamson
outtracked him.
blows him away.
Correct.
517 yards.
1,067 yards.
Wow.
So bust Troy Williamson
Yes.
had twice as many yards as Laquon Treadwell.
Yes.
Touchdowns 1.
3. So at least you're a little bit closer there.
What about average yards per
Catch,
reception? Yeah, 9.2.
13.5.
Whoa.
Yep.
Man.
Actually, for a wide receiver to be below 10 yards per reception is like, that's tight ends are like 9 or 10 yards per reception.
Well, since we're going down this path, let me find, because we didn't get to this on
Actually,
Purple Daily
I have
today.
it up.
Oh,
I was just about to say this.
Thank you.
Uh,
This is good.
credit to Judd for finding it. It's from Fox Sports North. They went back and looked at the draft from 3 years ago and some of the analysis and grades that have come from it.
Okay.
Chad Ryder, who joined us on draft day here on Mackey and Judd with Ramie from NFL.com.
Are you just going to dump on him right now?
No. I mean, the draft it's a crapshoot for the guys drafting and the guys analyzing the draft. So this is what Chad had to say. General manager Rick Spielman got the most physical receiver in the draft in Treadwell. There's no reason he won't be a go-to guy for Teddy Bridgewater.
Maybe a go-to friend behind the scenes? I mean, I hear he's a great sounding board.
Pete Prisco said he gave the draft a B- as a whole, said Laquon Treadwell, 3rd day gem. Cantrell Brothers from CBSSports.com said the Vikings hit it right by getting Treadwell, and Alexander is a talent. Willie Beavers in the 4th round adds line depth, and Brothers is a player who could make an immediate impact.
Willie Beavers is a lot of things, I'm sure, to a lot of people, his family. Line depth is not something that applies to Willie Beavers.
I just like the name Willie Beavers.
I believe to this day, Willie Beavers remains the highest Spielman pick not to make it out of a training camp.
Willie Beavers sounds like a cartoon character. Bart
He's been with the Bears, by the way.
Bart Hubbock of the New York Post, he said both of the first 2 picks look like home runs, and stud Ole Miss wideout Laquon Treadwell and promising Clemson man coverage corner Mackenzie Alexander. Minnesota is definitely on the rise.
Why is it that first round wide receivers, there's very little middle ground? You're either Calvin Johnson or Laquon Treadwell. Like you're either Megatron or Megaquan, and there's really
Mega bust.
Mega bust. And there's no in between, it feels like.
Mark Maskey of the Washington Post said the Vikings needed a receiver and got a potentially very good one in Laquon
That's
Treadwell.
couching a take right there.
Well,
You can always say, potentially. I said potentially. It's not my fault.
but to be fair, that night we all thought, oh, this will work out perfect. So we all believed, not knowing that poor Laquon would be slow and couldn't catch. We all believed that this pick was fine.
Off the tops of your heads, this is probably more for Judd than Ramie, just because Judd's been immersed in Vikings drafts and history for the last couple decades. Skill position players, so tight ends, wide receivers, and running backs.
Mhm.
Laquon Treadwell is a bigger bust than Troy Williamson because unless he has a big fourth year, like he's a bigger bust than Troy Williamson. Troy Williamson was higher draft.
I was going to say the higher draft pick makes
Maybe
you
balances it out.
identify him more as a bust. Yes, because 23rd compared to 7th overall.
Who else is on that Mount Rushmore? Running backs, wide receivers, tight ends.
Oh, well, if you go back a long ways, if you look in the 80s, around 87 or so, the Vikings took a running back with their first pick by the name of DJ Dozier out of Penn State,
Oh yeah, 14th overall.
who was a complete bust. As I recall, he did nothing.
He played 43 games in the NFL.
Yeah.
Ran for 691 yards
Yes.
in 43 games.
But that's going in the way
Wow.
back machine.
Is Toby Gerhart second round pick?
No, I don't think he is. I don't think of him as a bust because he was just supposed to play behind Peterson. Like he never really developed into much. But I don't know that my expectation upon seeing him was there's a player.
There was buzz around Toby Gerhart when he came out of college. He wasn't. I mean,
he is he's a fullback type of body, and I didn't expect the whole. I mean, perhaps I'm misremembering, as they like to say now.
He had a really high football IQ, though. I remember that being the case.
Code for he was a white guy,
Yeah.
Phil.
yeah,
Hey, you're white. You must
be
really
super
know what you're doing
that's
out
what I
there.
was just gonna say. People love them some white running backs. Like I think
Oh,
that's
Rick Fenny for the
Mhm.
Vikings back in the day.
yeah.
Yeah, but that was a big plotter. in
Remember
Rick
Peyton
Fenny.
Hillis?
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Peyton Hillis was on the cover of Madden one year.
Yeah, I know.
That was about the end of his career. I think the more I'm going through here, I think it's possible Laquon Treadwell, depending on what you think of Troy Williamson's draft status or his draft position.
Yep.
Because Williamson was a better wide receiver than Laquon Treadwell, which is saying that's amazing that we say that. I think Laquon Treadwell is the biggest skill position player bust, non-quarterback skill position player bust in Vikings history.
In history?
Oh, I'd have to go back and look at that.
Well, depending on what you think of like 30 years ago, DJ Dozier. Maybe DJ Dozier is on that list. And if you want to go back to the 7, I'm sure Pat could. We'll talk to Pat about
Yeah.
this in the
I just
next hour. But
the Williamson pick was such a bust because you got that in the Moss trade. It was such a high pick.
Cordero was sort of used. He caught like 45 passes in one year.
Treadwell's a bigger bust than Cordero.
Cordero
Cordero could do more too.
He was also
keep
like
in
the
mind
best
returns.
And if you're gonna put,
Yeah.
if you're gonna label a guy, at least you could label Cordero Patterson as the best kick returner in the NFL for a 2 or 3 year period.
Correct.
I mean, there's really nothing you can do to label Laquon Treadwell other than dude's a bust.